All right, time now is 10:32 a.m. on May 13th. Yeah, I slept from 3:30 to 10. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't fucking know anymore. Um, I had a dream, a pretty complicated multi-part dream actually. That includes being at a play and being asked to volunteer as part of a play, and it's the most life and death intense play ever. And then watching a film on a big screen with Ken the Taiwanese, and then seeing Leslie, but she's distant. I didn't talk to her. She's somewhere far away in a parking lot. And then I saw Bree, but she's a baby, and her head is chopped off, and I and Thomas had to take care of her head. And then I was on a bus, and something crazy happened. I forgot what happened, but it was pretty wild. But yeah, I yeah, today is going to be a very interesting day. It'll going to be split into three parts. The first part is going to be I'm going to CMD to color grade my short film, finalize it with Cliff. Um, and then yeah, I'm going to color grade with Cliff until 3 p.m. and then Thomas will come and pick me up and drive me all the way to his apartment to set up for his podcast thing, which is stupid and silly, and I'll probably be focusing on something else there. And then afterwards, at around 5-ish, we're going to meet up with Birkin and Benny at a cafe to deal with permits and whatever. That's it. I have decided to get back on my feet and function. Again, I just had 2 weeks, roughly less than 2 weeks, I think. About 10 days to enjoy my final times with Leslie. I just want to enjoy it to the fullest. Of course, Leslie's going to be busy in the next 2 weeks. But, yeah, but, I'll enjoy my time with her to the fullest. If I can offer her food, I will. Actually, I realized I already did something like that. When I bought my McDonald's, um, I offered some fries to Leslie, which I think was really nice of me. I actually did that already. My brother in Christ. Um, but I just want to enjoy my time with her to the fullest. Talk to her about movies. Have a nice chat with her whenever I can. Be nice. And then on the 23rd or the 22nd, I'm going to confess to her. Everything will be ruined. And then the couple of weeks for the shoot, and then that's it. And then no more. I realize that there's one thing I can do, and I'm stupid for not thinking about this, but I want to have phone calls with Leslie. I think one of the biggest reasons why I and Michelle got together so well is because we had phone calls and we hear each other's voices. I'm gonna phone call her in the name of looking for PAs. Um, so there's that, and if Michelle had done this to me, I can do this to Leslie. Um, so there's that. Also, next Thursday, I want to be on set the whole time. I don't want to go up to the production meetings anymore. I want to be there. I want to look at people. Yeah, I'm done with this psychological anguish. I need to go back up. I need to stand up, get back on my feet, and go back up. Yeah, it's funny because after I went to school yesterday, I looked so disheveled apparently. Um, Leslie asked me, "Are you okay?" or something along the lines of that. And she asked me how many hours did I sleep, like 3 hours, and like I actually slept for 8 hours. Like If Leslie asks you, are you okay? I'm really not okay then. But I'm trying my best to be. Yeah. Very intriguing. But, let me enjoy the last 3 weeks here. Let me do that. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same with the last shot.
It's too blue now.
Yeah.
Just bounce it out.
How are you, buddy?
I'm chilling.
What do I put?
Oh boy. Why have I done this?
I'll definitely use the Febreze.
Thomas. Are you?
Actually, let's just see it. No, that's an extender. Damn it.
There we go, I connected.
That's HDMI. Micro it says, yeah, it says HDMI, but wait, HDMI.
Alright, time now is 1:58 a.m. on, whatever. Yeah, let's talk about today. Today is quite dense, quite interesting, and not in a way I like it. Because today could have been totally avoided. I didn't have to go out today, actually, but I ended up spending 10 hours outside of my apartment. So I took my laptop and everything and went over to CMD. I left at around 12, and then I basically arrived at around 12:40. And then, yeah, and, to color grade my short film with Cliff. And it's also pretty interesting because I don't think I've been to CMD on Saturdays all that often, and I thought that the Indian professor would be here because he's my favorite professor in all of this college, and it's Film 40, it's a cinematography class. Turns out he's not here. What happened was instead, okay, so of fucking course, the moment I walk in to the CMD building, there's nobody, and then I pass by the auditorium door, and right there I saw Leslie and Drew. Of fucking course. So I went up, I saw them, and I walked away a little bit, and I went up to them again, because it turns out the auditorium doesn't have any people. The morning class of Film 40 is already over. So Leslie walked up to me and was like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And then I just ignored her. I just don't want to fucking speak to her, man. I'm so done. And then Drew was behind her, and I spoke to Drew. "Hey, can you open room 290 for me and Cliff?" And he's like, "Sure, let's do that now." So that's that. So we took the elevator together. Leslie went off, And then Drew opened the door for me for room 290, and then I set down everything. I set down my laptop, everything, boom, 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 boom. And then I started waiting for Cliff. And Cliff said he's gonna arrive at 1, and turns out he wouldn't arrive until like 1:25 or something. So, yeah, yeah, essentially, there's that. And then because I waited for Cliff, I just walked around CMD. And the thing is, I've gotten to a point of popularity where I just keep running into people. Like, I just can't help but keep fucking running into people. So when I went in, I saw Aaliyah from Wednesday Film 32, and he said, "Hi, Enoch." And then, at some point, I saw Sean, right? I saw Sean first. Sean, the Korean American, also from Wednesday Film 32. And then when I went upstairs, I saw Tova, and Tova was like, "Hi, Enoch, what are you doing here? Enoch, what are you doing here?" And then I just ignored her, and I just kept walking, because Drew was in front of me. But then I spoke with her a little bit later, and then I went downstairs, and I saw Leslie sitting outside alone, outside of the CMD building alone, eating a bowl of noodles, from DoorDash, apparently. And I struggled. I didn't know whether I should go down and speak to her or not. Because, again, like, speaking to her is just bound for more psychological torture. But then I also really want to speak to her. And also, I've changed my mind. I'm definitely prepared to be rejected by her. It's just, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, if I speak to her, if I don't speak to her, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, essentially, there's that. So I basically, went downstairs, and I just keep running into people, I swear. There's like a group of people. Apparently, so Tova's here today because of Film 50, and I also ran into Duke, the British guy from Scriptwriting Club. I went downstairs to sit with Leslie. I opened the automatic door, and I suspiciously walked out of it. And then I sat down by the table, and Leslie just looked at me and said hi as if it's just a normal Saturday. Like, she has no idea the amount of psychological pain I'm going through. And then behind me, it's a whole gang of people, also Film 50. So the whole gang of people are working together. So it's Shane from my Film 33, Patrick from Film 2 and the previous Film 33, and then Carmelo from Scriptwriting Club, Hinata from previous Film 33, and I think it was someone else too. Yeah, it was Alex, a Brazilian dude who is friends with Brie, who is also PAing for my Film 33. And I know all of them, and they just pass by me. So it's like, again, I keep running into people. It's absolute, and they keep saying hi. It's like, I just can't stop saying hi to people. It's pretty fucking insane, actually. And then Shane came up to me saying, "Oh, I did the Google form." And I said, "Yeah, I know, I saw your name." So I and Leslie talked for a little bit. And then Leslie was like, "Wait, can you sit here for 1 second? Can you wait for 1 second? I need to go back in and grab something." So I'm like, 1 second? Okay. So she just left. And then I just waited there for like 5 minutes. And I was like, I don't know where she is. I can't go anywhere. And Cliff is coming at any given moment. I'm running out of time to edit my short film. At 3, Professor Cuccio is coming to edit his scene with Cliff. I just, I'm in a hurry. So I just texted Leslie, like, "When are you gonna come back? I need to go upstairs and edit my short film." And then she's like, "Oh, okay, fuck. Okay, I'm coming back." So Leslie just came back, and I just sat there on my seat, like, in normal circumstances, I would just like bawl my eyes out, but like I'm just not even. So I just look really awkward. And then she came out and then she grabbed her food and then went outside and went back in. And then so I went back up a little bit and then I realized that Cliff is not going to come until way later. So I went back down. So essentially, I went back down again. I spoke with Tova a little bit. So apparently Film 40 is playing In the Mood for Love by Wong Kar-wai. Oh, and then Connor the Macanese guy is there as well. Did I see him earlier today? I think I did. Yeah, Connor the Macanese guy. Because I saw him twice today, basically. Yeah, I think I saw him twice today. Or no, actually, I didn't see Connor the Macanese guy this morning, but I did see him later this afternoon, which is another thing that I have to talk about, I guess. Yeah, essentially I keep running into people. It's absolutely insane. So, anyways, I went back down, and then Leslie's there again eating a bowl of noodles. And then I went back down again to speak to her. And then we just talked a little bit, something basic. And then Hinata shows up and joins our conversation. We basically talked for about 15 minutes. We talked about Film 33. We talked about Rustem. So apparently, I asked Leslie if she's going to come to the film festival thing next Saturday. And she said no. Of course, the most important people aren't going. Cliff is not going because he has a film thing to work on with Ebony, who is a black woman. Or not black woman, but like, apparently, I don't even know what ethnicity she is. But she got Cliff a film job thing. And then Leslie's not going to because she also has too much to work on. She has 2 jobs, one here at CMD and another film job. She has 16 units, and she has tons of homework, so she can't come. So of course all the important people can't come. And then we talked about her being the second Rustem, and then I mentioned Dimitri, and then Hinata said that apparently Dimitri doesn't like Rustem that much, which is really weird. I was kind of surprised. And then we talked about PAs for a little bit, and then Hinata was like, wow, this is how I know I'm getting old, because when I talked about the names of PAs, Hinata pretty much doesn't know anyone I'm talking about. So that's how she knows, like, she's beginning to go out of the loop. And right now I'm very much in the loop, and then very soon, like next semester, I'm out of the loop again. So that's that. But yeah, speaking of PAs, Leslie talked about Simon from Friday 32, who is really good, really hard worker, really chill guy. And then, like, Leslie saw my list. Leslie was like, show me your list of PAs. And I'm like, fine. So I showed my very short list on my phone. And like, she was eating this bowl of noodles, this spicy bowl of beef noodles. And I was like, where is this even from? And she said, it's from Flaming Pot. And I'm like, bruh, that's where Pepper worked in before. And then she ate it in such a mess. And she also wore sunglasses at the same time. And she ate it in such a messy way, like the soup, like the tomato soup or something, like got all over her mouth, and she's constantly trying to cover up her mouth because of it. And then after that, she pulled out a random like some biscuit snack or something and started like using her own hands to like pull out, like rip the biscuit apart and eat it, which I fucking hate doing, by the way. I don't like using my hands. But it was so funny. And then her hands are kind of like dirty, but I let her use my phone, whatever, screw it. And then she saw Simon's name and she's like, don't get Simon. Don't let Simon come. And like, what? What did he do? And he said, Simon's really weird. So apparently Simon has a crush on me, like Simon likes me and always looks at me like a fucking pervert. And at some point Simon told me to kiss him. And I'm like, what? When did that happen? There's no way. Simon's such a chill guy. And this is like not the first sexual harassment complaint I've received. So of course there's Udav being like asking girls to marry him. And then we have this story of Tracy, the black guy from Wednesday 32, who was acting kind of touchy in front of Ashley or something. And then like now this, what the fuck? And it's like it happens to the people, it's done by the people that I least expect to do this. Like they're so chill. I just don't know why, but that really shocked me. And like Leslie was so mad. Like she said something along the lines of like killing him, and like she just really fucking hates him and said he's a pervert. And at that instance I thought, wow. Like first of all, I didn't know that other people would also like Leslie, because Leslie's such an esoteric girl that it's like I mean, whoever likes her is just a fucking weirdo like me. But also, second of all, does Simon like have this idea that Leslie's just gonna say yes and you know, like, oh, you want me to kiss you? Sure, and be all like extroverted and stuff? Then he doesn't know how complicated Leslie can be. But that's a very interesting piece of information. But that also makes me realize like Leslie's actually, I feel like deep down inside her, I think Leslie's actually just a really normal person. Or like to a degree, I think Leslie's a pretty normal person. I mean, yeah, she is like a hot mess, but also deep down she's like really normal. Like if someone sexually harasses her, of course she's gonna be mad about it. So there's that. And then Cliff shows up. So there's that. And Leslie had to go back, and so I and Cliff went upstairs to edit, and we only have about 1 hour and 40 minutes to color grade, and we basically finished the color grading. It went successfully, and Professor Cuccio was late, so we were able to color grade until 3:40. And there are a lot of time code issues. There are a lot of issues with the clip being completely out of sync for some reason. But we fixed them all. Turns out we didn't. I just found out. But we fixed most of the issues, and we rendered it, and it looks freaking amazing. This is the first time I've had such a serious color grading in my short film, so that's amazing. But yeah, that's that. Now, after that point, at 3:40, people started calling me. So the plan is Thomas is going to pick me up and drive me to his place. And then us and Miles will work on setting up for his stupid podcast. And then at some point at around 5 or 6 p.m., Thomas will drive me to another cafe to meet up with Berkan and Benny. And then we'll do some production meeting stuff. And then I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back home at around 8 p.m. to have dinner. That's the plan. So it turns out that's not the plan, because Birkin really wanted to meet. So Thomas actually ended up going to the Cafe Knob at Westwood first. And then Thomas asked Benny to pick me up. So Benny drove his truck and went to CMD to pick me up. And then I and Cliff went back down. And we saw Benny. And, apparently Benny and Cliff knows each other as well. Didn't know that. And then Benny just drove me to Cafe Knob at Westwood. And again, Benny's like, wow, like the day I didn't show up, everything goes to shit. And then he's like, man, Enoch, I gotta teach you. Like when he saw me, he's like, wow, the man who knocks, the knockin' man. And then he's like, man, like I need to teach you how to network, how to connect with people. And I jokingly said, oh, you gotta teach me how to speak to girls. And he's like, actually, I'm not an expert. But yeah, we arrived at Cafe Knob, and then we entered it, and we saw Berkan and Thomas, and we basically sat down for like 10 minutes, and then Benny had to leave, like immediately. So we didn't have a meeting at all, basically. We just met up, that's it. But I basically, Benny didn't even fill in the Google form. He basically just told me all the information, but it's done. Everyone's food preferences, allergies, whether they need carpool or not, their availability. I have it all basically. There's that. And then yeah, so essentially there's that. And then from at around 4:30 we left. So Benny left first and he forgot to bring his vest. And Thomas told me to give it to a cashier so that they could keep it, and Benny's gonna come back to get it. In that vest there's a little pocket, and in that pocket is a pack of Camel cigarettes. So that's pretty interesting. I know Benny's a smoker. I know he vapes. I didn't know he smokes. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, anyways, okay. Again, like so many small things just remind me of Leslie now. It's basically fucked up. And then Birkin left on a motorcycle, and then Thomas drove me. And then originally the plan is to directly go to his place to meet up with Miles. But turns out we're both very hungry. So we're like, let's eat somewhere. And I'm like, sure. And I was in a pretty jolly mood for some reason. So I joked around. I told Thomas about my master plan. And that master plan refers to my plan to do with Leslie. But I didn't tell Thomas what sort of plan it is. And I started giggling to myself. And it was sort of fun. And I and Thomas got along really well. Thomas wanted to go to McDonald's, and I'm like, bro, I literally ate a burger like a couple days ago. Please don't. So we ended up going to Century City, and we went to the food court, and we had Fua together. I had a bento box, chicken teriyaki, and it's really filling for only $10, nearly $11, but it's really filling, and we had a meal together, essentially. And then that's it. And then from that point on, I already wanted to go pee. But I never actually went to pee at all until I came back home at like 11 p.m. I held it in the whole time. And it wasn't even that bad because like I'm so experienced in holding in pee. Like this is actually like a normal thing for me. But yeah. And then Thomas kept asking me questions about Hong Kong and Taiwan and stuff like that because apparently Thomas is planning to go visit Hong Kong in the summer for like a week or so for traveling purposes. So that's that. Yeah, so he drove, so we both went to his apartment, and then we waited a little bit, and Miles came through his car, and then Thomas picked him up, like got him, and then we spent a lot of time setting up for the podcast. Thomas randomly had an idea of doing the podcast, making a podcast, and it's absolute garbage. He wants to film it, and I got a Sony a7 III. Miles got a Sony a7 III. And he also got a Zeiss 35mm f2.8 lens for Sony FE. And he also has a 24-105 f4 OSS lens, which is really impressive. And he had it first cheap, and he had it because of his dad's friend. And apparently Miles' dad is, and he's told me this already before, but like I forgot about it. But Miles is like experienced with using cameras and like gaffing and stuff because his dad is a legit gaffer, and his dad gaffed for David Lynch. He was the gaffer for Mulholland Drive and like Inland Empire or some stuff like that, like Twin Peaks or something. So yeah, that's that apparently. And it's true. I immediately went to IMDb and I found his dad's name on it. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, we spent a lot of time setting up that stuff, and it was fun and stuff. I had my fun. Like I just joked around. I made some cringy memes. I also, in the meantime, requested a permit for one of the locations, the Madrona Marsh, in fact. But yeah, we went on and on and on. And then at around 8 p.m., I started to realize, okay, it's late. I want to go home now. But they just wouldn't fucking go. So we stayed at that apartment continuously. Thomas kept on wanting to try to keep testing the podcast, testing the mic and everything, which is fine. But then we went to the rooftop because Miles wants to visit the rooftop. So they went up to the rooftop and they just kept talking and chit-chatting, and Miles kept doing his photo shoot. Like, Miles asked Thomas to shoot photos of him, and then they went to the gym and just chatted. Just chit-chatted, like small talk. I need to fucking go home. I have so much to do. I have the UCLA appeal letter. I have the script writing club script. I have Film 33 stuff. I have so many videos to edit. Edit college, my Japan vlog, my short film. I have so much to do. And they're just stalling time. So I just stayed silent. I randomly started to be very quiet, and I think they noticed that it's weird that I'm suddenly quiet, because usually I'm joking around and making cringy memes. But eventually I told them, hey, actually gotta go. So it's like, okay, fine. So Miles drove his car, and Thomas is in shotgun. I was in the back seat, and we're ready to leave. As Miles' car was backing up, it hit the pillar. The left rear window hit the pillar and snapped. It didn't break, it just snapped. So we immediately stopped the car and we spent about another 10 minutes fixing that, and then also scrubbing the scratched parts of that car. And it turns out it's fixable and it's almost like brand new. So that's that. So Miles drove me back, and at 11 p.m. I finally came back, and apparently Thomas and Miles would go on to continue to hang out for some more. Again, you two can hang out, that's great. I gotta go home. I have shit to do. I'm the one who's in Film 33. So yeah, I came back and edited videos and immediately made myself dinner at 12 at midnight, which is tortilla, ground beef, yogurt, avocado, and black beans together. In theory, that sounds like it's delicious, but really, after eating half of that shit, I just don't want to eat it anymore. The yogurt is very sour, the ground beef is meh, and I hate food at this point. I fucking hate food. And throughout the day, like even when I was in Thomas's place, Leslie texted me. That's so sweet. What the fuck? It's like a regular Sunday. It's like a regular Saturday. She's texting me as if nothing happened between us. As if it's all good. It's all fine and dandy suddenly. And she just texted me, like, I sent her a photo of like my short film being color graded, and then she sent me a photo she took at the opera at the Broad. And then I jokingly said, the most ethically immoral opera of all time. She probably doesn't even understand what I said. And then I also sent her, and then she asked me, no, that was before. She asked me like, what PAs do I need? But yeah, blah, 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 blah. Anyways. Oh yeah, before I left Leslie, I asked her, oh, when are you free to give me a phone call? When can I call you to talk about PAs? And I said that Kuchio wants me to call people and ask about PAs, but I kind of lied. Kuchio never asked me to do that. I just wanted an excuse to like call Leslie. And that's like an idea I came up with yesterday. And then Leslie was like, oh, okay, yeah. And then Leslie asked me, did Kuchio say my name? What did he say about me? And I said, I won't tell you. And he's like, fuck you. And that was when Hinata was there as well. And then I said, well, Kuchio said you're good. And Kuchio said you should come here as a worker, not as a student, so that you don't have to deal with all the student insurance and harmless form or whatever crazy procedure like that. And then Leslie was like, so is that all? And I'm like, yeah. And Leslie's like, you're lying. And I started laughing. But that's true. I'm not lying. That's all Kuchio had said. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, anyways, fast forward. Miles drove me back home. I'm home. And then Leslie continued to text me. And this is the what I want to talk about, actually. So Leslie randomly texted me saying that he's drunk. That, first of all, he drank 5 shots of espresso plus an energy drink earlier this afternoon. And then late at night, she drank tequila with orange juice. And she's drunk again. I'm happy she's telling me all this, but it's I can't do anything about it. Okay, if she's doing some self-destructive, maladaptive behavior and she's texting me about it and I just sit in my room and just watch it happen, like, that's so helpless. What am I supposed to say? B, it's like, if you are on a course of self-destruction, at least do it with me. Let's do it together, you know. But I was gonna like feed into her sadness too, you know. She's a sad girl, I'm a sad boy. It just works out. So I started talking to her about how, you know, I have a master plan. I have this crazy plan to do something crazy. And I had a spiritual experience 2 nights ago. Blah, blah, blah. And I said all that and she didn't respond. She's like, okay, I'm drunk. Can you at least give me some reaction? So I said, so what, you're not going to ask why? You're not going to ask, like, what happened to me? I told her I cried in the middle of having dinner. Because it really did happen a couple of nights ago. And then she said, well, sometimes I cry without any reason. Unless you have a reason, then you say it. And I'm like, bruh. And then, she continued to talk about herself. Like, I just, you know, I told her, you know, I came up with this plan. I want to enjoy my final times here in this college. I have 1 month left. And then she liked my text, which is great. And then, like, she just ghosted me. And then I told her, you know, actually I changed my mind. And I was gonna tell her, and it's this huge thing, because like when I had a phone call with Michelle and I told her why I wanted to take Film 33, it's because I wanted to like experience pain. Michelle was like, whoa, you're so edgy. But when I told Leslie that, Leslie had no reaction. I told Leslie I took Film 33 because I wanted to feel something, and she didn't respond. To her, it's like it means nothing. And then I'm like, you know what, fuck it. Why am I feeding sadness into you? Like, I had a moment of clarity suddenly. The whole, oh, you're a sad girl, I'm a sad boy thing, it's bullshit. It's pointless. You know what I should do? If I see you doing this self-destructive behavior, I should tell you to stop. I should tell you to take care of yourself, eat good and sleep good, even though I'm not taking care of myself well. But I have a responsibility to tell you to take care of yourself. So I told her that, and she's not responding. She read it, and she didn't respond. She fucking ghosted me. And 30 minutes later, I texted her again, like, hey, seriously, you need to take care of yourself. Like, just, you know, just enjoy your time. Just, you know, 1 month more, and then, you know, you can rest. Just 1 more month. Just hang on there. And she didn't respond. Are you fucking kidding me? And at this point, I'm beginning to be pissed at her. I'm beginning to be a little mad. Yeah. And I just don't, did I say something wrong? Did I piss her off again for the 3rd time? It's happened like 3 times already, where I said something and then she just doesn't respond. I hate it when people do that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Ghosting. I'm actually kind of fuming mad right now. I hate it. I hate speaking to her. You know what? I'll ditch her. I'll forget about her. I love her. But fuck, it's so fucking frustrating. I can tell her my sad thoughts and everything, and she will not respond. I can tell her happy things, and she will also not respond. Then what's the fucking point of speaking to you? What else can I say to you? She's just gonna come at me with, oh, I'm drunk again. Oh, I'm drinking again. And she said she smoked 5 cigarettes a day. How should I respond to that? And in terms, I tried to speak to you and then you didn't respond. At least I respond to you when you tell me how you're drinking yourself to death and smoking yourself to death. At least I respond with something. She's ghosting me. I am so frustrated with her. It feels so bad. It feels so bad. I was gonna watch Beef and I was just gonna like edit more, but I just can't. I'm just gonna ignore her again. Once again, back to that plan again. We're running around in circles. Back to that plan again. Next few days, I'm not even fucking speak to her. Now I do have an theory that maybe she didn't respond because she's too drunk to respond. Maybe she does want to respond, but she just can't. But like, it just pisses me off so much. I hate it when people ghost me. I wanted to enjoy my last few days with her. I have like 1 week left to hang out with her before I lose everything. I'm gonna confess to her, and she's gonna react to me the same way she reacts to Simon. Minus the fact that Simon sexually harassed her and I did not. In fact, I'm the least harassing person ever. I can't even hug people. I don't even hug girls. Girls hug me before I hug them. Betsy hugs me. Michelle hugs me. Girls hug me first before I hug them. I can't even touch girls. I don't even touch people in general. But then, of course, Leslie will be disgusted and I will be an idiot. Some random kid just falling in love with his girl. Just like a little idiot, like a little comedic side character. To me, she is such a huge breakthrough. She's so dramatically important. To her, I'm just some random side character. Just some random person. So what? Who cares? I'm gonna look so stupid confessing to her. So, you know, it's not worth the effort. Yeah, that's all. I don't even know if the phone call will work anymore. There's me with Leslie this morning. It's like everything's back to square one. And then me now, it's like I'm fucking pissed at her now. She's just playing with my feelings. Alright, time now is 8:09 a.m. on May 14th. So yeah, I slept from 3:30 to 8 a.m. That's 4.5 hours. My acne's so back. Like I just cannot control it. It's just fuck. So yeah, today's Sunday. I'm going to church. Hopefully today after church, after I come back home, I would have time to do things for once. So that I could finish all the things I planned to do. Yeah. You know, ended Hong Kong adventure vlog, my Japan vlog. Yeah, last night I found out that my short film has a couple of mismatched clips, and maybe I should wait until Monday to fix them with Cliff. I don't know. Yeah. It's and then yeah, this will be the last time I go to church until a long time later. Again. Because I really hate waking up early to do this shit. I'm gonna be honest here. But yeah. I don't even know what to do with Leslie now at this point. It's just I love her, but it's so frustrating with her, and I don't even feel that sad about not being able to, like, you know, be with her. I'm not even that sad about being rejected, even though it hasn't happened yet, but I know it will happen. I'm not even that sad about it. I'm just like a bit frustrated, you know? Yeah. I'm just not gonna talk to her for a couple of days, but I'll have to eventually call her. Yeah, that's that. Cầm cách gì vậy? Alright, time now is 6:47 p.m. I just woke up from an afternoon nap. I actually did fall asleep, I think. Holy shit, I slept from... Fuck. I didn't even set the alarm. I slept from around 5:45 to... Oh wait, actually, it wasn't that long. It was just like an hour. Yeah, I went to church, had a really, really insanely huge lunch. One of the biggest bowls of noodles I've ever had in my whole life. And then, you know, came back home finally at one piece, and then now I'm here. And I think in about 10 minutes I'm gonna go out again to go to Ralph's. Shit, I think I may run out of time again. But yeah, small updates. Leslie speaking to me again. Of course, roller coaster time. Roller coaster time. Also Cliff. And also Michelle. More on that later. Alright, time now is 8:30. I just got back home from Ralph's. This is what I got for 58 bucks. I got cabbage. I got 5 bananas. I got mushroom slices. I got some red potatoes. I got 2 husks of corn. And I got lettuce. Moving on. For 8 breakfasts, cinnamon rolls, toothpaste, ginger ale. For maybe tomorrow night, tomato cucumber salad. I don't know what the fuck is this. Some taco beef meat. Gotta try it out. More beef steak, and then finally some pork chops. All right, time now is 10:21 p.m. Let's talk about today. So, yeah, I slept for about 4.5 hours, went to church, ate a little cereal in the morning. Honestly, I had no idea what to eat, for the morning. Usually, sometimes I drink milk in the morning and get stomachache. Thank God today is not one of those days. You know, the church teacher drove me to church, went to the sermon, fell asleep multiple times. And then, you know, went to Sunday school, Bible study. It was okay. I was distracted most of the time. Like, I wasn't even looking at my phone, but I would be, like, staring at the air because I would be thinking of something else. Film 33 shit, Leslie stuff. So essentially there's that. Anyways, right after that, me, the siblings, and another glasses girl, the graphic designer woman, went to Arcadia to eat noodles for lunch. And originally it was like, oh my god, are they even gonna go for lunch? Because if not, then someone has to drive me directly back home and I would have nothing to eat basically. Other than like bread or something. But thank God we did go out for lunch, and oh boy, I think this is the most expensive lunch I've spent money on since the freaking, shepherd's pie fish and chips lunch in March. Yeah, it's really really expensive. I ended up paying $28. I've never been to Arcadia before, I think. And the whole area, Arcadia, San Gabriel, the whole area looks all the same to me. But anyways, we went to this restaurant called Yin Tang, and wow, this place is like a paradise, a noodle paradise. This is like Yogurtland, but for noodles. So you get a big plastic bowl, and you can just add whatever you want on the bowl. There's a wide selection of meats. Beef, lamb, I haven't had lamb in months. And then beef tripe? They got beef tripe in here? Holy shit. It's been 5 months since I've had that. And then they got fish balls, squid ball. I haven't had that in so long. They got tofu, like fried tofu, and it's amazing. So I added a lot of stuff, but I tried to like make it light because it's $14 per pound. So that's huge. So I ended up having 1.63 pounds of stuff, and then they added soup. I had small spicy soup, and oh my god, this meal is expensive. I ended up paying 28 point something dollars, which is about 200 and something dollars Hong Kong, which is ridiculous for a bowl of noodles. That bowl of noodles with that size, okay, in Hong Kong, I would say 100 and something would be reasonable. But everything's more expensive here. But yeah, essentially. But it's a really huge bowl of noodles, and I almost couldn't finish it. And I was insanely full after the lunch. I was insanely full. And it's been a while since I've been that full. And then afterwards, the graphic designer woman drove me to Garden Cafe in Monterey Park. And then the cardiologist teacher drove me back home. That's that. Pretty much nothing. And it's funny because today, when I was in the church teacher's car, and then when I was speaking to Jonah, and then when I was speaking to the siblings, and then when I was speaking to the cardiologist teacher, I tell them almost the same few things about, hey, I'm still waiting for USC, my film 33 is going crazy, and I need a haircut in early June. So there's that. But yeah, I came back home. I was so full that I had to immediately go to the bathroom. I also found out that my clean clothes from the drying machine are on the couch. And that's fucked up. I wasn't that mad because it isn't the first time it happened. And also, I could just wash it again. So I'm actually washing it again right now. But it's still pretty fucking infuriating. It's a time waster. It's a water waster, time waster. Everything sucks. And a couch is definitely no-go. Like, the Colombian dude sat on it. For fuck's sake. He could have worn the same pair of pants and sat on the fucking ground in the middle of the streets. So, yeah. I have to rewash it. So I'm rewashing everything. It's totally okay. But yeah, anyways, I digress. After using the bathroom, I took a shower, and since I took a shower and I'm all clean, I need to go to bed. So I went back to sleep, and I slept for 2 hours, actually, from 4:40 to 6:40. I wish I didn't sleep that much, but I did go back to sleep. And it's not a solid sleep, too. It's like kind of hazy, kind of in and out of consciousness. But yeah, I woke up at around 6 something, rejuvenated, immediately edited a college video, immediately dashed out to Ralph's to buy food. It took me 1.5 hours. At 8:30, came back, immediately made myself dinner, and then now I'm here. And yes, I still have a bunch of shit to do. I have a huge 4-page art history class essay to do, which I definitely have to do. So hopefully I finish it in time. I have the UCLA letter of appeal. I have internships to look for. I don't think I'll be able to find any internships because when I spoke with, again, like last Thursday, when I talked about internships, Thomas told me that a lot of internship applications are already closed. The cycle is closed. So I probably can't find any. I think that's okay because a lot of internships are not even going to be paid. Also, just because I find an internship, it's still going to be difficult because I'm an international student, so there's a whole procedure with me applying for CPT and whatever. So I think a much more efficient way to go about this is to literally just find a new well. I found several really good restaurants, good Chinese restaurants around this area. I have 3. I know 3 Chinese restaurants, and I've eaten in 2 of them, all nearby this area, and I could legit just walk up to them and just ask. I'm gonna do that. Now, the cream of the crop is of course Leslie, who I was really pissed at last night because I thought I said something and she's pissed at me. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm not gonna speak to her for another few days because fuck it. And of course on Sunday morning during the Bible study, she randomly WhatsApp texts me and asks me, "Good morning. So do you feel it now?" Which is a response to me telling Leslie that I took Film 33 to feel something, which is a very powerful statement, but she probably took it as a joke. Or maybe it's not a joke. Maybe when she asked me, "Do you feel something now?" it's like a genuine question. It's just that I feel like because of how much I texted Michelle and because Michelle's American, you can tell her tone. You can tell if she's sarcastic or not by the way she texts. But with someone Chinese, with someone non-American, when Leslie asks me something, it's quick for me to assume that she's saying it in like a deadpan voice. But maybe she's asking a genuine question. And I decided to read it and not reply. And then she texts me again. At around during lunch, she texts me saying that, I was gonna say I'm free at around 12:39 p.m., but I forgot to tell you that. So, to call me. So maybe we can call later tonight. And then I responded saying, "Oh, okay, yeah." And then she didn't respond to that. And then I added, "Were you too drunk last night to respond to me? I thought I said something wrong and I pissed you off." And then she said, "Oh no, I was too drunk to respond. I passed out." So, mystery solved. She's not mad at me. And then I just replied saying, okay. So yeah, and I feel like to a certain degree, now again, like with Leslie telling me about how Simon sexually harassed her and how she wants to kill Simon. The thing is, I never even touched Leslie without her touching me first. I never asked her to kiss me, and I've respected our distance, ever since the day we've met, because I'm afraid of speaking to women. More like I'm afraid of touching people. But also, I feel like at the end of the day, even though Leslie's probably not interested in relationships at all, like she's still closer to me than to your average person. Like, would Leslie randomly text people like, "Hey, taxi driver screening at the Academy Museum"? Probably not. Like, aside from maybe to her roommate, to Crystal, or whatever. I'm probably one of the closest people to her. Hopefully. I can only hope. Also, given that she repeatedly texts me, it's kind of a good thing. I feel like to a certain degree, she's interested in texting to me because I do say interesting shit. She never expressed that I say interesting shit, but that's because she's not American and she doesn't express everything on the surface. And I realized this. I feel like I'm so accustomed to texting Americans because I text Michelle so much that I always assume that somebody else is like, you know, like when I talk about personal shit to someone else, that they're not reacting properly. I'm being Californicized, and that's not good. That's why it's a good idea to like be on a phone call with Leslie, because I'll be able to tell like her tone of voice so much better. And it's again so fucking weird that she's speaking to me as if last Tuesday never happened. And I really suspect that Leslie, like a part of her, thinks that my crush is her, which is true. But it's like she doesn't even care all that much. I don't know. I'm not saying I have a chance, and I'm still prepared to be rejected, but I think I've really come so far. And yeah, I wish I could just, like, there's so many things that I thought of this morning that I could do with Leslie still. Like, of course, I want to watch movies with her, cook for her, tidy her room, whatever, but like even small things, like, why not just do some small talk instead of, you know, why not do some small talk? Like, I can ask Leslie, okay, when did you start drinking? What's your first drink? Like, how about some small talk first? Like, instead of directly plunging into the deepest, darkest shit, like, let's have some small talk. What did you do before you left China? Like, what's the last thing you did? Because what I did was I went to the seaside and watched the sunset by myself. And yeah, these are also like conversation openers, and they can lead to deeper, darker routes, which is great. But I feel like these are like, if we have small talk like this, I would be able to tell her personality much more, and she would be able to tell mine. Always start that. Don't immediately plunge to the deep dark. No. So instead of encouraging her, yes, be positive, hang on, or like feed her sad boy shit, like, yes, the world is ending. Like, you can go sideways. And I feel like Leslie needs that. And going sideways conversation-wise doesn't make me like a hot, attractive person. It just makes me more interesting. Like, more three-dimensional, you know? And I think that's what Leslie needs right now, is that like she's so overwhelmed with work and so many drama and people sexually harassing her, and then people arguing with her potentially. She's stressed out all the time. She's drinking, smoking herself to death. Like, maybe she would just want some small talk about nostalgia and food and music and stuff like that. Let's keep it simple. It's so weird how our relationship is now back to square one almost, or like it took a few steps backwards. So there's that. I also texted Birkin in the middle of Ralph's, and Birkin tried to call me in the middle of Ralph's about the church, because Birkin and Cuccio apparently went to the church together, and then they probably went to the Encino house together. But I really need to have the schedule done as soon as possible. Yeah, Cliff just DM'd me. And also the thing with Cliff is, I can tell his tone of voice by just looking at his text, because he always has that chill tone of voice. But I cannot tell with Leslie. She's a bit of an enigma, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I also shaved even harder so that this slit is more obvious, and I'm not even that emotionally disturbed today. And I feel like if I'm not emotionally disturbed, me doing this shit to myself is just self-harming for attention. But at the same time, if I made a slit in my eyebrow and it's not obvious, then what's the point? Let's commit to it. So that's what I did. I also called my mom. Apparently my brother wants to speak to me yesterday, but I didn't have the time. And today my mom's at her office, so I can't speak to my brother, who is probably at home. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, about the haircut thing, I think my current plan is have Thomas drive me there. Yeah. Alright, so time now is 10:26 a.m. on May 15th. We're halfway done with May. So much has happened in May. Oh my god. Yeah, I slept from 3:25 till 10:15. It was a really rough sleep. I woke up naturally, and I randomly woke up at around 6 a.m. And I feel like the whole time I was dreaming. I never went into deep sleep. And yeah, I think partially it's because of the temperature. So last night I was so hot I was almost sweating, and I turned on the air conditioning. And then somebody closed it. I don't know who, but somebody walked out of their room and turned it off. And I turned it on, they turned it off. Turn it on, they turn it off. 4 times. It's basically like a Tom and Jerry scene. And I tried to negotiate, Okay, 68 degrees a little too low. 69. They're not happy. 70. And I managed to have it turned on consistently, but then at around 6 a.m., I woke up, and then about 1 minute after I woke up, somebody turned it off. But I didn't walk outside to turn it back on again because I'm too lazy to. So I just kept sleeping. And it wasn't great. Not a great sleep at all. So yeah. Hopefully tonight's sleep is better. Or more like next morning. So what's gonna happen today is I'm gonna actually ditch my Photo 1 class because I'm learning nothing in that class. Instead, I will at around 11:30, I'm going to leave my place and arrive at CMD once again to finalize coloring my short film because of the time code issues. So yeah, I and Cliff went to Discord and had a pretty lengthy Discord call last night until like 1 a.m. And I shared screen and showed some of the time code issues with my short film. Some of the clips are out of sync and we need to fix it for the colored version. But Cliff doesn't have the footage in his drive, so we must do it on a PC. So today's the only day. So let's hope I can finish the whole thing today. In the meantime, before the call ended, I spoke with Cliff about the people in his Friday class so that I can, get PAs for Film 33. And again, I don't have to do this, but since I'm calling Leslie and the excuse is finding PAs, I feel like might as well call Cliff and talk about finding PAs just to reinforce that excuse. Like if Leslie asked me if I have called someone else, I would say, yeah, I called Cliff. But also it's a very good idea to actually. It's a very good idea to do that actually. And then I'll run the list by Professor Antonio very soon. That's one thing. The other thing is after 1 a.m. I spent about another hour finishing my 4-page art history class essay. And then I was just too tired. I didn't have time to watch a movie. I didn't have time to edit my Hong Kong adventure vlog, unfortunately. And I wanted to write my UCLA letter of appeal. And the thing is, I realized that it's basically fucking pointless. Because UCLA letter of appeal appeals for Common App. Now, the thing is, I don't think I got rejected because of my Common App. I think my Common App was pretty fucking fire. I think my Common App was pretty great, honestly. Not trying to sound cocky, but those PIQs were strong. They were tough. I got into UC Santa Barbara with that Common App. It should be okay. I think I got rejected because of my film essays. Simple as that. But this appeal is for the Common Apps. and I cannot appeal for a film school, which means that no matter what I write here, it's basically pointless because the film school people are not reading it. So there's that. Besides, I'm not even interviewed. So if I have interviewed and got rejected, and if I immediately appeal, perhaps I still have a chance. But I wasn't even interviewed, so why even bother? So yeah, that's that. So for a moment, I legit decided not to write the letter of appeal. But then screw it. I'll write a letter of appeal anyways. So last night, for about 3 minutes, I quickly wrote like 3 paragraphs. You know, I had an outline of what crazy shit I can come up with, and I just wrote them all down. Also, apparently, the letter of appeal has to include new compelling information about you. I don't have any new compelling information. I can make any old information compelling because of my story writing skills, but I don't have any new info. So why even bother? If it's more of a, you know, plead and beg to admit me, then of course I can do it. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, I'm going to CMD today, and then I'll just stay at home the whole day. That's it. That's the plan. Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Marco edited.
This is amazing.
What the hell? Whoa. No.
All right, time now is 11:32 p.m. Let's wrap it up today. So yeah, today's a pretty somewhat interesting day, I would say. Somewhat, perhaps. It's just crazy to me how every single day, every single hour, something new comes up, something happens, and it's just absolutely insane. But anyways, today I woke up, filmed a review, left, went to CMD. And yeah, I arrived at CMD, and it's really quiet, and the first person I ran into is none other than Mr. Jared, the black guy from my Film 33 class, and he's like, "Hey, Enoch, what's up?" And then he asked me about the schedule. Apparently, a lot of people are like oblivious with what's going on, like completely oblivious. So I told him, "Oh, we're filming in Encino," and he's like, "Where is Encino?" So that's really funny. But yeah, essentially there's that. We talked a little bit, and then I and Cliff was supposed to meet at 12 at noon, and then color grade my short film, finalize the color grade, until at around 2 p.m. where Cliff leaves, take a bus to the main campus to take his Chinese class. And of course, I skipped my photo 1 class this morning because I just don't want to take it anymore. But Cliff woke up late. I texted him, "Hey, I'll be late. I'll arrive at around 12:40. He didn't even read my Instagram DMs. And I was thinking, what if he's still sleeping? Turns out he was. He woke up and he was like, "Oh shit, I just woke up." And then he made himself a little breakfast, and then he came. And then suddenly, Ebony, the half black, half Chinese woman, called him to talk about the YOU, the scene that they're doing this Friday. So that's that. And then, yeah, and then apparently a bunch of other stuff started happening, and Cliff didn't arrive at the main campus until freaking 1:30 or like 1:40 p.m. So, I just waited and waited and waited and waited and waited, essentially. I walked up the stairs to randomly run into Carly, Silali, and Red, who apparently just finished having an art department meeting with none other than Professor Cuccio. Professor Cuccio shows up from the other side of the campus and walked in. Turns out Jared is here for a Film 2 class, Film History. And Carly's also going there, and I also saw Connor the Macanese, spoke to him a little bit. But at around 1 p.m., Leslie randomly texted me and said, "Hey, I'm free now. Want to call?" And I was just like, "Ugh, I'm literally in CMD right now. Like, now, can we call later tonight?" And then she said, "No, I have a shoot tonight until like 10 p.m. And then by then I would be too tired." And I said, "Well, I can stay up until 3 a.m." And he's like, "No, now would be better." And given that Cliff isn't here yet, I'm like, fine. So I actually called Leslie on the spot at CMD. Or Leslie called me. He made the call first. He called me on WhatsApp, canceled it, and then he called me. Oh, here we fucking go. So again, having a phone call with Leslie is a huge step forward. I think this is my second crush, and being able to have a phone call with your second crush, I think is just like a pretty awesome achievement already. And then we just started talking, and at first it's like we're close, but we're not that close. So we just started listing names from his Film 32 class. He sent me a call sheet. And she just started pointing people like, okay, this guy, he's not good. That woman, he's not good. Leslie was so freaking negative about most of the people in her class. She's like, "Oh wow, that guy can't pull focus. Wow, Zoe can't mount a lens. She spent like 5 minutes mounting a lens onto the camera. Wow, that guy does some stuff, but then like has no idea what they're doing. Like a lot of the times Leslie is like, wow, they don't know what they're doing. They're stupid. They're not talented. They're not focused enough. They don't have the attitude. I wouldn't want to work with them on a set." And Leslie telling me all this just made me kind of feel like, oh my god, this is a very serious film set girl. Holy shit. Yeah, essentially there's that. And then she even asked me to send her the list of people for Friday Film 32 because you know, she knows everyone. Turns out she only knows about half the people in the Friday class. I mean, she goes there every single week, but she only knows about half the people. But yeah, she went through all of them, and it was funny. And once in a while, I would occasionally joke around with her, and she would laugh, and it would be a very good time, actually. So it went on and on and on, and our phone call lasted for like almost an hour, like 56 minutes, I think. And then when we talked about Simon, she was like, "Wow, please don't bring Simon to set, please don't." So I asked her to further clarify what is this sexual harassment about. Turns out this didn't happen recently. This happened a whole semester ago. After a Film 40 class on a Saturday, Simon and Leslie hung out. What the fuck? I wish I could hang out with Leslie. I mean, I have hung out with Leslie, but just not with her alone. Yeah, essentially, there's that. Apparently they hung out a little bit, and at some point Simon asked if he could kiss her. And Leslie was really weirded out, and Simon flirted with her. And then in this semester, when Simon's PAing on set, he's always looking at Leslie, and he looks very sus. So there's that. So I asked Leslie if she wants me to just come to set and observe, and she's like, "Okay, sure." And then after all these listing names, I asked her, "So do you have any questions for me?" It's almost like exactly how Michelle, like when Michelle called me, it's almost exactly how she did it. You know, she at the end she ended the call with, "So do you have any questions for me?" Essentially, I expected her to ask me who is my crush, which is her, by the way. But she didn't right off the bat ask that. She's just like, "Oh, not much. I mean, what's the schedule like?" And then she asked me if I could send her the schedule immediately. I'm like, "Bro, I can't. I'll send it to you later." And she's like, "How long?" And I'm like, "I don't know, in 30 minutes when it gets to computer lab." And she's like, "Sure." So right now it's 2:04 p.m. At 2:34 p.m. I'll check, okay? And I'm like, "Bro, why are you timing this?" And then I asked her if she would work with me on a set because she's so negative about people, And then she said, yeah, I would like to work with you on a set. Because when I did scripty for her scene, like, did I do a good job? And she's like, yeah, you're good. And she said, I don't have the technical mind, so she wouldn't want me to be in the camera team or something. And I'm like, wow, is that an insult? And she's like, no, you just have like a different mind. Like, and I said, yeah, you know, I'm in the producing team. I'm also artistic. And she's like, yeah, you know. So there's that. Anyways, eventually she asked me, okay, who is your crush? Tell me now. And I'm like, I can't tell you now. And she said, okay, how about this? Tell me as soon as possible. Like, tell me, like, next time we see each other in person. So it's funny because I want to book an appointment with her so that I could tell her in person, and I don't know how to approach it. Turns out Leslie's already booking an appointment for me. So I said, how about the day before the shoot? Because I want to, like, put a load off my mind. Not be distracted during a shoot. And she's like, oh, okay, sure. How about earlier? How about this drill, like this Thursday? And I'm like, is it too soon? And she's like, please, like this Thursday. And I'm like, fine, I promise I'll tell you. I really don't know if Leslie has an inkling idea that it's her herself, but if she does, why does she want the answer so fast? I don't know. I feel really grateful. This, again, like the same with my last conversations with Mary. It's just like every single word I have with Leslie, it's just like I just savor it so much, and it's awesome. And then I'm carrying, and for 56 minutes straight I would be walking around the empty area outside of the building with my backpack on, and I didn't feel fatigued because I'm so focused on speaking to her. But yeah, it's really, really nice to speak to her. And then I told her, okay, Cliff is here. I'll talk to you later. And then and then of course there's more information. So she told me that Ken is insane. Ken, the Taiwanese dude, who's really chill, maybe a little quirky, but chill. He told me that apparently Ken is insane and has like bipolar disorder or like depression or something, and like he smokes a lot of weed. Like when you watch War and Peace with Leslie, he's like high the whole time on weed. And then I didn't expect that, but I guess that's true. East Asians are just fucked in the head, I guess. East Asian filmmakers are usually fucked in the head. And then apparently so many people smoke. So Benny smokes. I found his pack of Camel cigarettes. And then a bunch of other people like Ethan or like somebody else, like Pierre, I don't even know who he is. They all like smoke weed and cigarette and stuff. And then at some point I told Leslie, like, you have no idea. Every single day of May so far is basically like life and death. Like, you have no idea how much emotional damage I've sustained. And then he asked me if I need pills, because apparently his Korean woman roommate, has like a large collection of pills, and she knows a lot of friends who are in desperate need of like pills, like antidepressants and whatever. And I'm like, I try my best not to take pills. And also, you know, I used to take pills, like back in 2020, I would take a lot of melatonin to help myself sleep, but now I try my best not to like rely on it. And he's like, sure, but you know, just in case if you want some. So Leslie's like telling me all this shit, like everyone's basically insane, like junkie, drug addicts, bipolar, mentally ill, asylum belonging psychos, essentially. So that's that. Anyways, at 2 p.m. I went upstairs, saw Cliff, and I saw none other than Chiara, the Italian woman, who also know Leslie really well. So I was like out of breath and I was really tired after walking up and walking so long. And I was like, wow, I just played 3D chess with someone, but they have no idea that I just spoke with Leslie. That's really funny. And then me and Cliff went to another room, a different room this time, to color grade my short film, to finalize the color grade. And Cliff also told me that he's skipping his Chinese class, so we have way more time now. So, you know, I plugged in my laptop and whatever, and that room sucks so much. It beeps whenever it runs too much power on the monitors, it beeps. It's also Mac, and Cliff doesn't use Mac as much. But we eventually did fixed the time code issues, and he helped graded the posters a little better. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, and then at 2:37, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta send Leslie the schedule. So I just sent it to her. I just typed it up. And then I told her I'm editing my short film again, and then I said I'm gonna screen it at the film festival and the audience will hate me. And then randomly, Leslie texted me asking me, do you hate yourself? Which is such a freaking Leslie moment. And I said, not really. I mean, back then, yes, but now a bit less. And Leslie said, so the answer is yes. And I'm like, and I told her how back in Form 4, Form 5, I would want to kill myself, and I was really sad for 2 weeks, and then for 1 week straight, I'm fine, and then it's like an endless cycle. And then I asked Leslie, how about you? So this is a really good opportunity for me to really get to know her. And she said, no, I love myself. See, that's what I like about Leslie too, is that she subverts expectations. Like, she's crazy and suicidal, but also at the same time, she loves herself. And she says she has trust issues, so she thinks nobody loves her but herself. She loves herself. And that's that. And I'm like, okay, good job. So that's that. At some point, Kiara came in to watch Cliff color grade my short film, and Cliff is like, oh, this is a, Enoch short film, blah, blah. And then I spoke with Kiara a little bit. Like, in front of Cliff and Leslie, I can be much more personal and close with them, but in front of Kiara, who is someone I'm not too familiar with, I'm just like, hey, hi, I'm just suddenly really polite. While trying to be funny and like relaxed at the same time. But yeah, essentially there's that. So at some point, everyone's really hungry, and we all left the editing room, left CMD, to walk to a cafe nearby to get some snacks, to get something to eat. I plan to go back home at 2, so that I could, immediately like make myself a toast or a sandwich or something. But because the color grading is going to last really long, I wanted to grab some food too, even though I don't want to spend money. So me, Kiara, Cliff walked to that cafe. Turns out it's closed. And then we walked to Cafe Russo. Of course it's closed. So we just went back to CMD, and Cliff grabbed something at the Every table. And before walking back to CMD, they had a smoke break. Kiara just randomly pulled out a cigarette. Like, everyone fucking smokes in front of me. And Cliff started vaping. Kiara's just smoking. And I'm just standing there. And usually, if I smell secondhand smoke, I'm just like, I immediately run away and dodge it. But at this point, I'll just take it. Like, just fuck it. But yeah, there's that. And then we went back, and I almost forgot to submit my UCLA letter of appeal, but I eventually finished writing it, and I submitted it, and I really don't care. I'll probably not be reconsidered, but who cares? All right, I'm back with more storage space. So yeah, so we went back to the editing room, and yeah, we went back to the editing room. We finished the editing, and I basically wanted to leave because I was really hungry. I really wanted to go back home. It's pretty much it for me. So yeah, at around 5:30-ish, I decided to leave. I also saw Jade from the Friday Film 32, who is apparently French, and I didn't know. I thought she's American. So there isn't a single American in that room at that moment, with Kiara being Italian, Cliff being Malaysian. But yeah, essentially there's that. Anyways, I saw so everyone's editing. Udav was editing in the other room, and then Kiara was editing a video for her media project. And of course, in that media project, it's Leslie again. And for some reason it's the soundstage, and it's Professor Antonio, Drew, and Leslie sitting on chairs and talking to each other and about AI and laughing. And apparently, Chiara filmed this interview for her media class project. And I'm like, damn, like Leslie's in everything now. Like I'm a little jealous of how like famous and powerful she has gotten. Holy shit. There is that. At some point I just left. I went back home, took a bus, came back home, and immediately made myself a egg and bacon mayonnaise sandwich, which tasted pretty nice actually. And then I had a Discord call with Michelle, a 2.5 hour long Discord call. It was real long, and I wish it could be shorter, but there's so much to talk about. So, I told her everything that between me and Leslie, and then she told me how chill of a day she had, and how mad she is with Betsy. Betsy sent me and Thomas, and actually to Michelle as well, a video that Gary has made. Gary, the middle-aged Chinese-American guy. And it's a short film that he submitted for the Short Film Festival, and it's really creepy and weird. And it's like Neil Breen, and it's supposed to be like an anti-suicide video, but it's approached in a very distasteful and man way. It's very cringe. It's videos like this that make me not want to kill myself, unironically. Ironically, because it's so bad at depicting suicide. It makes suicide so uncool. But anyways, there is that. It went on and on and on and on, and Michelle told me something very interesting. She says she has multiple surprises for me. She has 2 surprises in total. One surprise is about herself, and the other surprise is about me. And I was like, okay, sure, keep it a surprise. And she said she'll tell me on Saturday, which is the film club festival. And then she started asking me these weird questions, like, so nobody in your life has ever confessed to you, right? And I'm like, no. And she asked, have you ever imagined somebody liking you? And I'm like, hell no. It's a ridiculous thought that someone would like me back. And then she's like, okay, so what is your type again? Like, what do you think of love? And she wouldn't say what she's trying to tell me. She said it's a surprise. But after she said all this, it's almost like she's suggesting that someone has a crush on me. What? Okay, so of course I don't know yet. But when she said that to me, I was like shaking a little bit out of nervousness, because this is such a ridiculous thing. It couldn't be real. And also, if somebody has a crush on me, that would render me completely illegitimate to call myself a loser, because someone has a crush on me now. Which is absolutely fucking insane. Like, I would honestly be pretty scared if somebody has a crush on me. Like, come on, I look like a fucking idiot. My hair is a helmet. I have acne on my face. I'm like goofy and skinny. Like, nobody loves me. That's stupid. That's such a stupid idea. But essentially there's that. And then Michelle said, oh, this surprise probably wouldn't surprise you that much. You probably wouldn't even know it's a surprise. And then I thought, oh, maybe it's not that crazy. Maybe I'm overthinking too much. But either way, something along the lines of that. But regardless what happens, regardless of what Michelle will tell me on Saturday, I will still love Michelle. Like, of course, when I called Michelle today, I wasn't like head over heels for her. But like, when I think of her right now, I love her so much. I just can't stop thinking about her. I really like her. And it's so daunting to me. So I promised Leslie to tell her this Thursday. It's so daunting to me that 3 days later, that's it. So Pink actually texted me earlier this morning, saying that in her experience, after somebody confessed to her, it's really difficult for her and this other person to continue being friends. In this case, Idris. And I just thought, like, damn, like, even after I confessed to Leslie, honestly, and then I also asked Michelle for this opinion. for her opinion. And she also said similar things. Even after I confess to Leslie, the chances of us being friends is like really, really low. And Leslie will probably be weirded out and she just won't talk to me ever again. That's probably what's going to happen. And I'm just embracing it. It's really fucking sad. And I turn around, I sit on this chair, and I turn around and I see the back and I see the umbrella. And I see the red gaff tape. And I wanted to cry because the gaff tape is all I have left of her. And then like I would have no more. Like she wouldn't speak to me anymore. She would probably block me on all social medias. And the gaff tape would be all that's left of her for me. And I'll keep it forever. And Michelle's like, damn, you're so sad. So yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's like a while ago, I was counting down to the Owl by Chico concert. And I was like, damn, it's like half a month until the Owl by Chico concert. It's like, it's getting close. And then now, it's 3 days away from me confessing to Leslie. And I almost don't realize how close it is. And that's so fucking scary. And I just want to enjoy the last 3 days I have with her. I mean, holy shit. And, you know, there's so many things I want to do with her. I want to, like, do simple things with her. Go to the supermarket with her and buy groceries together. I want to go to the cinemas with her alone. Which almost happened a few times, but never really did happen. Maybe let's just go to the cafe together and just talk. I just want to do something like that. Why is it so... It's not going to happen. Fuck. And then 3 days later, our relationship will be ruined. And I'm prepared that our relationship will be ruined. I'm prepared that I will be emotionally destroyed. Oh my god. And again, it's not like I don't think we can still be friends. If we can still be friends, I'll fucking take it, okay? If Leslie said, you know what? You're a nice guy, let's stay being friends. I will say okay, of course. I'll fucking take it. Last time with Mary, I couldn't even be friends with her. But it's just going to hurt so much. And I know for a fact that she will say no. Like, she's fed up of human relationships. She's so busy. She's so overwhelmed with people right now. The best I can do is really maybe have another phone call with Leslie or just speak to her more, reveal more to herself, like have some really nice conversation with her. And then that's it. I just want to enjoy the rest of my time with her. It's like she's gonna die. And then, like, before I cook dinner, which is rice, pork chop, and some cabbage and mushrooms, she texted me again. She said, hey, I'm back in CMD now. And it's so cool that she's even texting me small things like this. Like, the amount of progress we've made. Imagine if I told her that I already had a crush on her back in mid-March. She would probably be pretty, like, surprised. Like, wow, we got way closer since mid-March. And all this time you had a crush on me. Like, you must be feeling, like, jolly. Well, no. It was so scary. And it was so painful to see you every day and not being able to tell you how much I love you. So, yeah. Yeah, so, also, I fucked up. I was supposed to call Film LA today. I forgot to do that. Red texted me to make floor plans, for the big house. But also, right, another huge thing I forgot to mention is Birkin announced on the Signal group chat that the schedule is up. Everyone started freaking out. Like, Skylar was like, how do I access it? And then NJ was like, yeah, it's here, go here. And then they're like, wait, we're gonna film at night? What's going on? Liam was like, what? One of the days suggested we have a 19-hour day. And then I added I guess I was like emotionally clogged. I didn't think twice. But in the Signal group chat, I said, "Oh, we're gonna pull on 2 all-nighters, by the way." And then Birkin individually texted me saying, "Enoch, please, like, don't say anything until like we announce it." And it's like, I'm like, "Okay, sorry. Do you want me to delete it?" And Birkin's like, "That's fine. It's already sent. People have seen it already." And then people started freaking out, and I started to feel bad. Like, Theo suddenly wrote like a very serious statement saying, "Hey guys, I'm sorry, but I don't feel comfortable doing night shoots." My guy, filmmaking is full of night shoots. Why are you afraid of night shoots? You're a 35-year-old Italian man. And then Jonathan fought back. Jonathan was like, "You signed onto this class knowing that what you're going to get into. You don't want to take this up to me, Carly, or Cuccio. Because this is what you signed up for, man." And then Liam and Ava were like complaining, like, "Okay, we're not going to show up if it's like overnight." And then Birkin tried to seize the fire, like, guys, look, it's like it's tentative. The schedule may still be changed, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there's a lot of fire. And then Jonathan DM'd me over Signal asking me, "There are 2 versions schedule. Which one is more accurate?" And I said, "Bruh, neither of them are accurate in my opinion." And they're like, and he's like, "Oof." And then Liam DM'd me on Instagram asking me, "Wait, are we actually doing all-nighters? I won't show up." And I said, "I'm actually not sure." And then we talked a little bit. And Liam's like, "Oh my god, this is going to be very controversial. Like this Thursday when we announce the schedule, it's going to be disastrous. Like people will start arguing." And also, people are apparently starting to get mad at Ariel being second AC. And I wanted to ask him who, but I wanted to be subtle with it. So I said, "Oh, the camera people are mad?" And Liam's like, "Okay, I don't feel comfortable sharing the names, but someone's mad." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I have a feeling that more PAs will replace people. So, be on the lookout for that." And it's good that I'm in the producing team and I'm sort of in the loop right now, but I'm also more with the people, But I also feel low-key guilty because of that. And hopefully this Thursday is going to be hellfire. This Thursday it's going to collapse. The class will collapse. And it's going to be absolutely horrible. And really think of it. Like before Ends and Means, it's WoW. And WoW doesn't have any night shoots. I don't know about live. WoW is all interior. So no night shoots. Leaving the Factory, the one before that, no night shoots. They're all interior. So, yeah, even other short films I've seen from the same college, it's like, there are not that many nighttime scenes. So for some reason, our class has a lot of nighttime scenes, which makes it extremely difficult. So, yeah, there's that. We'll see. So yeah, I'm actually really fucking stressed right now. 3 days and all hell will break loose, both in terms of my personal love life and my school academic life. It's going to be one of the most intense days of my life. So hopefully I survive.